I'd like to thank you all for coming here tonight, and I very much appreciate the organization asking me to be the MC tonight for this gala. It is, in my opinion, an honor to be here. I appreciate for the researchers in the room and the funders in the room. I very, very, very much appreciate the work that you do every day on this disease. It's very nice and very important. I know a little something about neuromuscular issues, as when I was 9 months old, I woke up one morning and my parents realized that I couldn't move my limbs, and they discovered this was in 1955. Now I've just essentially told you how old I am, if you have your calculators out, that I had polio. And so I've lived my life with polio, and I've lived it quite very well and feel very lucky and actually blessed to have had the challenges that I have had and the opportunities that I have had, and I'm sure that many, many of you feel the same way. Now, I'd like to introduce someone who really, I don't think, needs an introduction. Daniel Paul Perez. President and CEO, co-founder of FSH Society, one of the nation's leading advocates and experts on living with facioscapulohumeral. FSHD, molecular and genetic research, clinical aspects of the disease, graduate of Harvard College. Daniel started his career in neurobiology and muscle research as an undergraduate. He has an extensive background in software and database design. Daniel's expertise in data warehousing and databases led to his contributions in bioinformatics and databases for the Human Genome Project in Massachusetts. Daniel and his wife live in Bedford. So very nice to meet you tonight. Thank you very much for having me here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for being here. And thank you for supporting our work. It's an honor to be here to honor two very special people that have done a tremendous amount of work for the society. And I work with, first I'd like to talk about Professor David Housman, who I've known for 15 or 20 years, and I have the utmost respect for David, his genius, and just his ability to get things done in a very direct and quiet way. It's my great pleasure to introduce the FSH Society's 2016 honorees. And our first honoree is Dr. David E. Housman, the Ludwig Professor of Biology at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In 1997, Dr. Housman agreed to serve as the chairman of our scientific advisory board, a role in which he continues to make invaluable contributions. He often looks outside the box for the diamonds in the rough that might provide a novel insight into the cause, and more importantly, a path to treatment and ultimately a cure for FSHD. Under his leadership, the Scientific Advisory Board of the FSH Society has reviewed hundreds of grant applications, resulting in $7 million in grants awarded to date and more than 300 publications in top-tier journals, and leading to an understanding of the genetics and epigenetics of FSHD and several emerging therapeutic strategies. He has been a key architect in the FSH Society's strategic and tactical research plans. David, if you would come to the podium, and Jasmine, you're welcome as well. Jasmine is David's granddaughter. Nice. We'd like to, during this year, we'd like to present you with a commendation through your service. Through your service. As FSHD Chairman, you have given the entire FSHD community cause to hope and optimism that nourishes and helps keep us going. For this, the FSH Society is eternally grateful. Thank you, David. Thank you, Jackson.
So I'd just like to say a few words of appreciation. And I'd like to start by appreciating the fact that I've been invited to join your family, and I've brought my family here as well. But the point is that as we together, Daniel, Carol, Charlie, and I have taught medical students for probably about 15 years at Harvard, what I wanted the students to understand was that the challenges of the diseases that come to genetics class for first-year medical students are not challenges to just one person, but to the entire family. And I think a generation of students get it, and I think it's critical that that understanding be out in the community of physicians and the community of caregivers, and I believe that that understanding is something that is there and must be fostered and supported, and I think that's something we here at the Society are providing some degree of assistance in bringing that important message to the medical community. Now, I don't want to talk for too long. There is a subject that I would like to touch on briefly, especially given some of the things that have gone on in our country. I especially want to, of course, thank my family, and the subject I want to touch upon is one that my wife Ruth frequently discusses, because her name contains 4/5 of the word that I want to discuss, and that's truth. And in a year in which perhaps truth has been less than honored, I want to explain that what we on the Scientific Advisory Board are committed to bringing to you is the truth as best we can do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in the scientific world agrees on everything at every point, but rather what we do is use the approach of testing and discussing and evaluating all the information that we can get, and then designing tests and strategies that bring us closer to the understanding we must have in order to make, in this case, FSH muscular dystrophy, a non-factor in the lives of people who are challenged by it. That's our goal. And it is frankly a privilege, and I think the entire Scientific Advisory Board shares this view. It's a privilege to be able to work with you to achieve that goal. So I want to thank you for being here tonight, and I want to thank you for being there all the time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Our second honoree tonight, I worked with for many years. I met Chris when he was 16, I believe, and now he's on the other side of 40, heading for 50. But I've known Chris for a long time, and Chris Stenmon is our second honoree, and he is a most dear and valued friend to the Society. Chris was a member. Chris, if you could come up. by the way. Sorry about that. All right. How you doing? Good. Okay. So Chris was a member of the FSH Society Board of Directors from 2006 to 2014, serving on the Finance and Development Committees, as well as being treasurer for 2014. Chris was among the first members of the FSHD community in Boston who stepped forward to advocate for awareness and fundraise. His end of tax season pub crawl in 1998 evolved into Friends Supporting Hope annual dinner. Chris and his wife Ellen, whom he met at the first pub crawl, organized the dinner for 16 years and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the society. Thank you, Chris. He has been an unparalleled champion for our cause. And then, Chris, the Board of Directors of the FSH Society expresses its deep gratitude and appreciation for your service, generosity, and devotion to the society. Your enthusiasm, steadfastness, professional skill, and attention to detail, and your willingness to juggle so many responsibilities and ability to do it so successfully. We are deeply grateful to you, your friends, and your family, and your colleagues at O'Connor and Drew, many of whom are here tonight. And I would like to thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Dan. I'd like to begin by thanking all the veterans, past and present today, on a day that we remember our veterans and the people who fought for our country. So I'd like to thank Dan and June and the staff of the Society and the Board of Directors for all of their hard work and dedication to our cause. I'd like to thank my family and friends, many of whom are here this evening today, who inspire me to be the person that I am. My friends here from all walks of my life, from grammar school, high school, college, O'Connor and Drew, clients of the firm, thank you very much. We began our fundraising for the Society almost 20 years ago. It began with my sister Katie helping me carry the t-shirts and sell the bar crawl t-shirts through our street through Quincy. It grew into a more traditional fundraiser with my wife Ellen and helped our outstanding fundraising committee to grow the event year after year. We could not have done it without our friends supporting hope. I'm going to end with a quote you've heard from me in the past. The world belongs to people that show up. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So at this point, thank you, Chris. So I'd also like to thank the members of the board directors and scientific advisory board, and all of our great researchers here in the room as well. Just so many unsung heroes and people who dedicated countless hundreds of hours to, on both sides of the equation, to really making progress. I've worked with the next individual who I'd like to introduce for a very, very long time, and I consider him like an older brother and a dear friend, somebody who's really thought about FSH genuinely, sincerely, and genuinely feels that we really need to push the needle in terms of solving the disease. I think he understands, as we all do, but I think Michael really feels compelled to move to action and make things happen. So I'd like to introduce another esteemed colleague of the FSH Society Scientific Advisory Board to introduce the next set of awards for tonight. And it's my pleasure to introduce from Los Alamos, New Mexico, Dr. Michael Altair, a member of the Scientific Advisory Board, and he will now present the 2016 FSH Society Scientific Awards. And it's a great honor to introduce Michael. Michael, thank you for all of your work.
I want to share a metaphor with you about climbing and share with you why I think searching for a cure for FSHD is like climbing a mountain. Most folks, even if you have no affiliation to mountaineering, know Hillary as the first man to stand on the summit of Mount Everest. But it wasn't them alone who got there. Their successful effort was facilitated by what had been learned previously. The path to the cure is not always clear and certainly not been easy. And I met tonight's award recipients along the path that has brought us here tonight. Consequently, it is my great pleasure and more so my honor to make tonight's presentations. The FSH Society Awards honor a research pioneer whose work has played a major role in establishing the scientific foundations of the FSH field, and a young investigator who has published high-impact work and shows exceptional promise to develop into a leader in the field. The Society has previously given the Pioneer Award to George Padberg. And tonight, Charis will be our Hillary, getting the first Young Investigator Award. Both of this evening's honorees have made seminal contributions to the research endeavor. Both are strong contributors who are willing to repeatedly carry large loads to high altitudes on our mountain to the cure. Both are likely candidates to be part of the summit team. If I could have Dr. Vandermel join me, I would like to present him with the 2016 FSH Society Pioneer Award. Dr. Vandermel has made seminal contributions by defining the underlying genetic mechanism for FSHD, including the relationship to the epigenetic modifying genes and helping to develop a unifying hypothesis that has been a principal driver of current drug discovery efforts. And Silvere, thank you very much. And it's been my pleasure to have you as a friend. Thank you much.
It's a tremendous honor to receive this award. Back in '96, when I was looking for a postdoc position, I wanted to something which is not mainstream in genetics. And that's why I chose to start working on FSHD, because this was really a disease that we didn't understand at all. And it was through the society. I think the society was actually the society that awarded me my first grant and has ever since supported me over the last 20 years. So I'm very grateful to the Society for their support. Now, science is not something you do by yourself, alone. So I also would like to thank my team, my group in the Netherlands, my members, current and former members of the lab, who are actually doing all the hard work while I'm here celebrating this award. And I'm part of an unusual and an exceptional research community. I think that we witnessed that over the past 2 days ago. But there are a few people that I would like to thank in particular, because over the past 10, 15 years, they have really shaped, together we have shaped, I think, this unifying mechanisms. So I would like to also thank my great colleagues, Dr. Ravi Tawil, Dr. Basile van Engelen, Dr. Stephen Tapscott, and Dr. Sabrina Sacconi. And thank you very much for this award.
If I could have Dr. Himeda join me. I would like to present her with the 2016 FSH Society Young Investigator Award. Thank you. It's a pleasure to provide, I'll say Dr. Himeda. I really struggle with that.
Everyone does.
With the inaugural FSH Society Young Investigator Award, she is, in this effect, our Hillary, stepping first into this award. Her contributions included the groundbreaking 2015 paper published in Molecular Therapy exploiting CRISPR-Cas mediated transcriptional inhibition to repress DUX4 in FSH muscular dystrophy. More importantly, I think she really dedicates herself to advancing a public understanding of research. Following her recent publication of the CRISPR study, she was interviewed by the Washington Post, Huffington Post, Boston Business Journal, and moderated a discussion with FSHD patients. Thank you very much, Charis.
Well, thank you. I'm very honored by this. I've had the great good fortune to work with Peter and Takako Jones for the last 5 years. And FSHD has been a uniquely challenging disease to understand and try to combat. But the field has made great strides over the last 10 years. And I have no doubt that we'll continue to do so. There are now a lot of promising targets and avenues for therapy, which is extremely encouraging for the prospect of treatments. Thank you very much.
So I would like to conclude by saying our trek to the summit that will be a cure for FSH continues. We have had accomplishments along the way necessary for moving our fundamental understanding forward. We have had obstacles. We have climbed peaks that were subsidiary to our particular objective out of necessity to get to where we're going. We've had some obstacles that have forced us to retrace our steps, but the research community continues to move toward the summit. We are not there yet, but we are getting closer. The path is not nearly so steep as it was, thanks in large part to tonight's honorees. While the path is still not steep, there are still obstacles, but we cannot let the clouds of uncertainty obscure our objective or the future of our cause. I'd like to thank you.
I wanted to give a surprise special presentation. Dan, sorry, I'm going to have to bring you back here. We're not quite done. We want to honor you still again. So first, I want to read a message from Bill Lewis, the chair of our board of directors, who regrets not being able to attend tonight, and who sent this message. So the FSH Society was formed 25 years ago by a group of patients affected by FSH muscular dystrophy. My daughter, who was among the organizers of the society, asked me to join the board of directors. I gladly accepted and have served on the board since its inception as its chairman for the past several years. I've witnessed many dramatic events as the society evolved, almost all of which are to be attributed to Dan Perez. In his role as president and CEO, Dan recruited his mother, Carol, his father, Charles, and his wife, Susan, to help. And for many years, the society operated out of the family home. And with the growth of the society, Dan began to assemble a professional staff, which has now grown to a whopping total of 6 people. Dan was instrumental in the formation of the Scientific Advisory Board and has initiated a very successful fundraising program, established the Society's FSH Watch newsletter, and was instrumental in developing NIH programs which have funded critical research. Dan is also an active liaison representing the FSH Society and other muscle diseases before congressional committees. These and many other projects were all conducted while running the society. We can all agree that Dan was the right man for the job when the FSH Society was formulated. Dan, for all patients, family members, friends, and associates, we express our great and enduring appreciation to you for all that you have done and are continuing to do on our behalf. Sincerely, William R. Lewis, MD. And we are not quite done. It is my distinct honor to present you with this proclamation from the state of Massachusetts. Daniel Paul Perez and the Facioscapulohumeral Muscular Dystrophy Society. On behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I am pleased to confirm upon you this governor's citation in recognition of your 25 years of unparalleled service to individuals and families around the world affected by facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. FSH Society is the first organization in the world devoted solely to FSHD, initiating and funding groundbreaking research, spearheading the MD Care Act, increasing public awareness of FSHD, providing knowledge and support to improve health and well-being for patients, and lighting a flame of hope for treatment and cure. This 11th day of November in the year 2016, Charles D. Baker, Governor.